You can eat this with chopsticks as well if you prefer. If you guys haven't tried perilla oil, I highly recommend you do. Hi guys, how are you? Welcome to Weeknight Wonders. We'll be sharing easy, family-friendly weeknight meals. Today we'll be using soba buckwheat noodles, but you can just as easily swap in thin wheat somen or somyeon noodles. The sauce or dressing is also very easy to make, and we have a pot going, so let's get started. Now soba noodles are very, very quick. And one tip that I'd love to share with you is that regardless of the brand that you buy, dried of course, set your timer for 4 minutes. So don't listen to the instructions. That's actually really hard for me as someone who follows the rules all the time. Just set your timer for 4 minutes and don't walk away. Each of these bundles is about 3 ounces. Water is boiling. We're putting our soba in. 4 minutes, don't walk away. And soba is inherently salty, so there's no need to pre-salt your water like you would for dried pasta, for example. What it does like to do, as you can see, it kind of foams up a bit. So the reason why you don't want to walk away is because the water level occasionally rises and you just want to stir it and then it'll go back down. If you're my mom or lots of Asians, they'll like to kind of pour some cold water. They think that improves texture while it's cooking, but I just cook it the easiest way I know how, and it's worked every time. So while these soba noodles are cooking, if you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe to Food 52's YouTube channel, where you'll be getting all the great recipes. Okay. All right, so we're gonna drain these soba noodles. If you want to make your way over to the sink carefully. So we're bringing the cooked soba noodles over to the sink. We're going to drain them of their hot water, and turning on your cold tap, just rinse the soba noodles and give them a gentle rub until the water becomes less cloudy, and the noodles should feel cooler in your hands. So maybe 3 to 4 times. So the perilla oil noodles are dressed in this great soy-based dressing, and it has 2 garnishes. One is crushed dried seaweed. You guys are probably very familiar with these if you order sushi rolls, but in Korean, it's called kim, and we love kim. We use it in a lot of different applications. This plus crushed sesame seeds on the noodles will really give it that earthy, savory, delicious flavor. So we're gonna toast the kim. If you have a gas stove top, you could do it carefully like this if you have like asbestos fingers. Otherwise, I'd recommend tongs, or to play it a little safer, you can just put a pan over like a medium heat and give it a little turn here and there. So if you guys ever have like dried seaweed in your pantry and you don't really know how long it's been there, you can always kind of revive it on a pan. So you'll notice as it heats up and gets more toasted, the color goes from being a black to a little more green. So the soba noodles are draining off to the side, and I wanted to take a quick minute to talk about perilla oil. You may or may not be familiar with it. I chose a pretty mainstream brand. You can find this at H Mart or a Korean grocer near you. It's made from the toasted seeds of the perilla leaf, which are these. They look like shiso. They're not. They're related. They're all part of the same mint family, but where shiso has a little bit of that minty basil-y flavor, these are much more mild. So you might have seen them in Korean restaurants as part of banchan, or if you're wrapping Korean barbecue. But basically the seeds of this plant are toasted and become perilla oil. It looks just like sesame oil, but it's not a direct substitute. So if you do buy a bottle of perilla oil, you can use it in the same way you would any type of finishing oil that doesn't have a high smoke point. Drizzle it over rice dishes like bibimbap, or maybe over some fried eggs. It should last you a while, but like any oil, it does go rancid. So just be mindful, and once the smell and flavor kind of dissipate, then it's time for you to get a new one. But you can usually find these for under $10 a bottle. So our dried seaweed kim nori is toasted. You can feel how much drier it is, and we're just gonna shred it. You can hand tear it, and what I like to do is you can either, fold it in half like this and then start tearing small pieces. If you're making it for a large group, you can also just zip it in your food processor or like Vitamix. So we're using toasted sesame seeds. If you happen to have just the untoasted blonde type, I would, just toast them in a pan for 1 to 2 minutes until you start smelling them, but keep an eye on them because they like to burn and pop. So this is 2 tablespoons, and you can just put them in a mortar and pestle. What we're aiming for is largely ground with some pieces of sesame seeds still intact. So as you can see, I've taken it to the point where you can still see some whole sesame seeds, but largely it's ground to a pretty fine, almost powdery state, and that helps kind of sink into the sauce, and it really lends that nutty, earthy aroma and flavor to the dish. So time to make the sauce. Super easy. I bet you already have all these ingredients. We're gonna start with just a teaspoon of plain white sugar, a teaspoon of rice vinegar. I would use the unseasoned variety because the seasoned one already has flavorings like sugar and salt in there, so just double check your label. And then we're going to start with 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Actually, I'm gonna go for 2.5, which is what the recipe indicates because I prefer it just a little saltier, but please adjust it to your taste. And then 3 tablespoons of the perilla oil, which is called tukidam in Korean, if I haven't already said that. You're just gonna give that a stir until the sugar is dissolved. And it's not a dressing of sorts, so you don't have to worry too much about the oil component emulsifying completely. It's fine if it's a little separated. So sauce is done, soba is done. It's just a matter of combining the two. Give them a good coat. And again, this sauce, adjust it to your and your family's taste buds. If you prefer it a little more sweet, or if you like it more like a vinaigrette, so it's more of a soba noodle salad, you can increase the vinegar. Just adjust to your taste buds. But this is a good place to start. So we've made enough noodles for 2 servings, but as I mentioned before, this recipe can easily scale up. I would just recommend that you have plenty on hand because I feel like people will really enjoy this, so just make maybe 1 more portion than you normally would if you are serving a larger crowd. So what I like to do is plate 1 portion, kind of make a little nest or donut. And we can put some shredded chicken. You can use a rotisserie bird, or if you have poached chicken kind of in the fridge, this would be a good time. This noodle dish would also go well with imitation crab meat, or really anything that you like. We're going to be generous also with the crushed sesame seeds, as well as the shredded. And keep the perilla oil, on the side, because once you start eating, you might want to add a little more, so feel free to drizzle. Here are the perilla oil noodles, which we made with soba today. And you just want to, everything topples over, but give everything a good mix. You can eat this with chopsticks as well if you prefer. If you guys haven't tried perilla oil, I highly recommend you do. It's toasty in the way that sesame oil is, but it's such a nice, mild, and different flavor. I hope you guys can enjoy this perilla oil noodle dish. It's family friendly, it comes together in no time. If you use the help of a rotisserie chicken from your neighborhood grocer, you can really fill it out and make it feel like a bigger meal than it is. You can find this and many other delicious recipes on food52.com. If you end up making them, please tag me in food52. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.